That's my girl, and I'm taking her out tonight for her birthday in Amsterdam. And a lot of you guys are trying to get a girlfriend. You're trying to get a gym girl. If you watched my last video, yeah, don't judge my hair, it's terrible. And a lot of you guys are just trying to get a girl. And I'm telling you now, you know what I mean? There's a whole other beast when it comes to managing women, when it comes to relationships. And that is managing the mid to the long-term relationships, yeah? Funneling in girls, funneling in attraction and interest is simply the start of it all. Like, that's the tip of the iceberg. So you guys are going to want to listen to me. You need to get early practice with women as fast as possible, as early as possible. Because you see all this red pill stuff, you know what I mean? They're talking about mid to long-term relationships, and you need to learn all that as well. And the reason you don't care about that right now is because you haven't got a girlfriend and you're not experiencing any problems in relationships, right? And I talk about dating all the time, and most men don't really want to talk about dating unless they're on a massive dry spell and it's eating them up inside, or, you know, they're having problems with their missus. And guess who they run to in a dry spell, and two having problems with their missus? They come to me, because I study this stuff. I've been reflecting and learning about it my whole life, right? And I'm telling you now, try not to just think about it when you're 12 months deep into a dry spell, or you're having problems with your missus. You want to be proactive. You want to learn about it now so you can handle it. And first step for you is funneling in interest and attraction from girls. Funneling in short-term dating. So what is short-term dating? That's anywhere from approaching, dating apps, going on dates, sleeping with girls. And then mid-game is anywhere from the point you kind of both have met and like each other to the relationship. And you can say long-term game, long-term relationship game is obviously long-term relationships, yeah? So you're stuck on just getting girls in. And I've tried every single approach, guys. And guess what? What am I going to tell you to go for? Obviously, the product and marketing the product. You know what I mean? My whole life, it was the sales route. You need to cold approach. You need a cold approach. I was brainwashed by this because I was like, God, nobody talks about this. I know a secret. Every time I tried to tell people about cold approach, it was like, that's weird. Just be yourself. Like, why do you even have to talk about getting girls? And then here I am at the end of my 20s, early 30s. And I'm like, I wish, instead of focusing on all that pickup and stuff, which in fairness, in defense to pickup, I weren't doing it all the time, because just like you, I was too much of a pussy without a drink, right? I had to rely on alcohol to do it. But when I did do it with alcohol, it works. But anyway, if I just hyper-focused on leveling up instead of cold approach, I'd have been so much further ahead with women, so much further, right? So focus on yourself is the product. You are the product. And whether you go down the cold approach route or the marketing route, you know what I mean? The product's still got to be good. So make the product good. This is what I just said in my community, my dating community. I said, look, if you want basically to do really well, first of all, you're going to have to work on the product. You're going to have to physique max, face card max, looks max. You know, getting low body fat and grooming and fashion fixes a lot of that. Once you've done that, you need to treat yourself like a model. You know, you've got to put yourself out there with photography, good photography, because all these women live on their phone now. They live on it. You live on it as well. So why are you not going to obviously use the approach that we're all on? Good luck going spamming cold approach. The only people I know that spam cold approach consistently, all the time, every day, are men that absolutely love it. They get a thrill from it. You and me, every time we do it, it's a bit of a mental battle. We need to build up momentum. We have to do it all the time to keep the momentum. And if you're in the UK, or you're working like a typical 9 to 5, you know what I mean? You're not going to have the numbers and the volume you need to turn that into a subconscious skill set that you do naturally, right? You know what I mean? By all means, go and do it. It'll do nothing but wonders for you. But you're going to treat yourself like a model, and you're going to put yourself out there. And no excuses. What TikTok has taught us in the last 2, 3, 4 years is anybody can go viral. Anybody can grow a following. It completely blew all limiting beliefs. YouTube, for the longest time, we all thought, you know, there's got to be something special about you. Whether it's your knowledge, whether it's your physique, you know, whatever it may be. But TikTok has just shown us that our auntie, who's 45, who just talks about her kids and the crisps she likes to eat, can go viral. So no limiting beliefs, no excuses. Start posting. But obviously this is for dating. So you're going to treat yourself like a model. You're going to fashion max, Looksmax, get a tan, whether it's edited or natural or fake tan, right? And you're going to go start posing like a model. I don't, a lot of my clients come to me. I can help my clients with online dating because I've gone from terrible to amazing at it. You know what I mean? And I've subconsciously learned how to do the photography. But even myself, they'll say to me, I need to go get the photos. I'm like, bring me all the photos. I can tell you what's shit and what's good, right? But when they're asking me exactly the poses, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just go out with my tripod now. I'll take my girl out tonight. And I'll just say, start taking tons of photos and videos of me. And I could never get good photos in the past. And it's because my face looked terrible because I was holding so much fat. But when I got dialed in, there would be loads of nuggets. But I wouldn't even know what I was doing. I would just sit there and do everything but look at the camera. Sometimes look at the camera and smile. But I'd be looking around, trying all these poses I can think of in my head that I see the models do candid, doing something with my collar, something with my wrist. You know what I mean? Stop having limiting beliefs. Stop wondering, but I don't have to do the photos. Do what I did. You just go there, tell someone to start recording in 4K or spam photos and just do shit. It's as simple as that. And don't come to me with 3, 4 or 5 photos. Come to me with hundreds. It takes me 50 to get one good one, typically, yeah? So let that be a bit of motivation for you. Now, you're dialed in, you're a good product, and you're marketing yourself. Why do all the biggest and most successful companies in the world go all in on marketing as opposed to sales? Because it's just so much better. Because it's a digital world. You can reach millions of people if you go viral. And if you're going down the sales route, you're targeting one person at a time. Look at the time efficiency. When you're cold approaching, you're focusing on one goal at a time. When you're focusing on pictures, dating apps, and Instagram, you're potentially hitting millions at once. Just think about it. Use your brain, yeah? And now you're putting yourself out there. Right, okay, now you're funneling in the interest. One thing I also said to my group is, you don't need game. You just need to be able to hold a normal conversation like you're talking to a friend. Now, you could argue that is a level of game, And I argue 70% of good game, good riz, is literally having no inhibitions, having no nerves or anxiety or being stifled up in your head. So you are at a point where you can't just talk to a girl as if it's your friend. No holdbacks, no mental dialogue, just being yourself, having a laugh. But obviously when it's a girl, you try and flirt a little bit. That's why I learned from some of the biggest players, they're even quote unquote flirting with their mates. They're not flirting, but they're bantering. Anything, someone says something, they might pull up and go, oh yeah, you think this, yeah? Shitty little jokes like that. You start doing that with everyone, and then naturally with girls, you're going to be teasing them, flirting, having a joke. Maybe they say something, or you practice the arrogance flirting. You're like, oh yeah. So you could do whatever you want, right? But you have to get to a point where you can just hold a conversation with a girl normal. So how do you do that? You either go spam cold approach, and that'll quickly rid you of all nerves and make you talk to anyone. Go get a bouncing job or a club promoting job, like I say. Or, what I'm pushing to guys to do now is you get the maxed out dating apps in Instagram, you number farm, and then every Sunday you just sit down and you ring them all, just like a sales job. Guess what? The first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th phone call, you're going to shit a brick and you're going to be awkward. 10 to 20, you're getting better. 30 to 40, you're smooth as anything. You don't care anymore. You don't care. 50 plus, now you're being yourself. Now you're FaceTiming. And guess what? If you match with a girl, she gives you a number and you've called her and you both mesh and now she wants to go on a date, guess what? The date is almost guaranteed to go well. Don't go on a date if you ain't had a phone call unless she's extremely high interest, almost begging to go. Yeah? And now you've worked on your conversational skills, you've got a good product, you're marketing it well, and now you're going to be getting tons of dates with girls you've already had a phone call with, you mesh, and now you're getting loads of little relationships. And now you can practice the mid and long term game, which is a whole other beast, like I said. You know what I mean? I'll do videos on that. But that's how you get it going, lads. You know what I mean? Go over to my Instagram. I'm new to YouTube. Subscribe for more. But my Instagram is where all my stuff is. Shaymax. I'll see you on there.